That was a scene from last night's series finale of Mad Men. And joining us now, media and TV reporter for the Los Angeles Times, Stephen Battaglio. Good to have you on board this morning. Joe, I know what you were watching last night.
Yeah, well, Stephen, let me ask you, some of the greatest shows in television history have ended with a dud, MASH most memorably in most critics' eyes. How did Matthew Weiner and Mad Men manage their exit from the stage?
I thought the last 2 minutes of the show were great. I thought, I don't know how much we can give away.
Are we giving, what are we deciding? Wait, let's make a decision right now. Joe, should we disclose or should we not disclose?
Yeah, listen, if you haven't seen Mad Men, turn off the channel, okay? We're doing this in real time. Go ahead, Steve.
Go ahead. Talk.
That last scene where we see Don going from meditation to the famous Coca-Cola commercial, I'd like to teach the world to sing, from the early 1970s. To me, it was sort of the triumph of consumerism. Look at all the subversive ideas that these people lived through, and they were able to take every one and use it to sell products, and that continued after the 1960s. I think that, to me, in my mind, it made so much sense. Don went back, he worked on the Coke campaign, and that's what he came up with.
Wow.
And I thought that was a great ending. I really did. I thought the rest of the episode was not great. I think it had one of the worst TV hookups in history.
What was that?
With Peggy and the art director Stan. That was not something that we were hoping would happen at any time. So
that was not something we were hoping would happen.
But the end, I think it really made tremendous sense. I think it told you a lot about Don. A friend of mine sent me an email and says, you know, it reminds me of the old George Burns line that acting is about honesty. Once you can fake that, you've got it made. That was Don Draper.
Okay, Joe, jump in.
Well, we'll continue to debate the end, but how does Mad Men stack up with other series in TV history? Most recently, I think we can safe to say the new golden age of television over the past decade.
Yeah.
It's up there. I think it would be in the top 10, but I think for a specific reason. I mean, I think Sopranos is the best series of all time, and this certainly built off of the foundation of The Sopranos, and coming up with a show that had complex storytelling, that had an anti-hero, that told the story in a novelistic style, and it really became like a work of art that you could look at like a novel or a great play. So I think it worked on that level. What was also very important about Mad Men was that it didn't reach a broad audience, but it was focused on the right audience. Madison Avenue liked it because it was about them. Journalists liked it. Historians, opinion leaders, critics. And the show never had to become a big, broad hit to be important. We kept on writing about it. We kept on examining it. It gave us a new look into mid-century ideas and design and fashion. I mean, isn't it interesting that the show ends in 1970?
That's great analysis.
The show ends in 1970. And now the fashions of 1970 are what's going to be popular this year.
Hey, Joe, I get the impression that the ending did not hit your hot button. Am I accurate?
Well, no, I thought the entire, about 3/4 of the way through, Joey and I, who were watching it, just looked at each other and said, what the hell? I think it was a disappointing finale.
That was Joe's tweet, by the way, was what the hell.
that was it. It was what the hell. It was a disappointing finale. I think, though, at the end, everybody else, every other character had pat endings. Everybody tied up neatly in a bow, except the person who was at the center of it all, Don. And at the end, no redemption for Don. Very little growth from the very beginning. And I suppose that's maybe Matthew's cynicism won out in the end, Stephen.
Well, I don't know about the no redemption for Don, because that final scene is a
campaign.
That's a changed character. That's not a moment he had anywhere else in the
he turns a spiritual experience into a Coke ad.
Let's go to the final scene.
Don defined himself himself. He was. This is what made him. You know, great ad men are wired this way. That's how they see the world. That's how they express themselves. This was who he is.
But we don't know.
Yeah, Mike.
We don't know what that entry into spiritualism and actually getting in touch with himself ended up doing in his personal life. When he hugs that guy, well, see, I feel so bad about this because people don't watch this live anymore.
Well,
But okay,
tough.
so Joe set the rules. We can talk.
Yes.
Okay, when he hugs that guy in that session, that is a breakthrough moment for a character. That has never happened. Nothing like that's happened for him in the entire series. That moment says to you, this is a different man. And so if you think that the same person goes from that lawn in Big Sur back to Madison Avenue and comes back exactly the same way, I don't think you get what happened in that final act.
I actually thank you for being elitist and looking down the end of your nose at me. But this is a cycle Matthew Weiner has taken us on for 7 years. Don had redemption at the end of the last show where he gave his automobile to a struggling kid that he was giving a second chance to, and you go, oh, Don's cleaned up. 15 minutes into the next show, he's drop dead drunk.
Joe,
This
when you
cycle
have
will
your spiritual
continue
awakening, you will
endlessly.
understand this.
Yeah, well, I will tell you what, when I do have that spiritual awakening, I'm pretty sure I won't score it based on your standards. Now to Mike Barnacle. Mike, you go ahead. Just joking. Mike, you asked me what I thought of it. What did you think of the last episode?
I thought that Don remained true to character in the last episode, and it encapsulated his character, and unchanging really at its core, encapsulated with the slight smirk at the end of the show.
Yeah,
cynical
exactly.
to the core.
It was the smirk.
And he was going to do the Coke commercial.
All right, Stephen Battaglio, final thoughts on all this analysis and competition on the set here.
Well, it just shows you that you know how television is really transformed, and that we had that people have shows now that you just can't be another show on the air that you're going to passively watch. People have to be engaged by TV shows because there are so many ways to experience them, and the consumer has so many choices. The viewer has so many choices. Mad Men shows that you just can't be good. You got to be important. You got to get people to really care about your TV show now to go forward in this really crowded landscape.
But great writing of a series ending allows us, the audience, to write the rest of the story.
Correct.
So it is I get to write what happens to Don Draper.
Yeah.
Joe gets to write it. We all get to write our own
So
version.
Joe, write it.
Well, I think everybody knows. He goes back to New York. He does the coke
No,
ad.
everyone doesn't. Everyone agrees on that, but we don't know whether he goes then and has a successful marriage, gets a good relationship with his kids. We don't know all that.
I think it's probably more of the same.
Past is always prologue. It's more of the same. He had redemption at the end of the last episode. He was drunk halfway through the other one. But anyway, Stephen, I wanted to follow up. Finally, the subtlety of Don's final smirk is what I think ends up as the greatest window into his soul. And it reminded me of that last moment in Castaway where you saw Tom Hanks turn and look down the road, and you looked into his eye, and you knew everything was going to be all right with that character. I mean, that was the genius of that final scene.
Well, it said that he was going to survive. I think that throughout the series, I think Matthew Weiner was trying to guide us down this road that we were going to end up with something terrible here. I mean, you see him racing cars at the beginning of the finale. You think, well, okay, they're going to James Dean him or something, and then there he was. Don always found a way out. He always found a way to get to the next point.
All right, Stephen Battaglio, thank you very much. Want to come back Thursday after Letterman's fun?
You bet.
Let's
Sure.
do it.
Okay.
Booked. Lawrence O'Donnell, thank you as well. Coming up, Senator John McCain joins us. He'll weigh in on what the fall of Ramadi means. Next on Morning Joe.